All right, can I get a thumbs up? Are you guys seeing the slide deck now? Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you for spending this Friday with all of us today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We are so glad you're able to join us. Just like the last time, we wanted to create an opportunity to watch this in whole or in parts. We want you to be able to kind of look through the slides and bring some friends in. We really appreciated the feedback. I was stopped the other day and someone said, I really appreciated you doing that. I was able to do it in segments with the different folks on my team. So however this is helpful to you, please let us know. We want to continue making sure that this information is accessible because we know it's a lot. We're really excited about splitting up in a couple weeks on February 2nd to see you all and really grow in fellowship and really thinking about what does this new year look like. As always, we have the different sections that are going to be hyperlinked so you can go straight to the slide deck. Once we have this on YouTube, we will actually have it hyperlinked to the part in the video. So if you just need to scroll to Instructional Services, I just want to watch that in the on the recording, then you can just click on that. It's going to take you straight there. With that, I'm just going to jump in there and then I'm going to start just passing a whole bunch of virtual batons to my amazing ALSDE family. If I have not met you, I'm Melissa Shields. I'm the Assistant State Superintendent. I have the amazing honor. One, I was just telling Jeff Norris yesterday, who I saw in this room. I never take lightly that I get to work with the most amazing people. I know what we have is special and I protect it and I am so thankful for it. That being said, there's a lot of moving parts at the State Department. And if you are new in your role, and this might be your first CNI meeting, I wanted you to know what falls in the Office of Student Learning. This is not everything. These are a few of those really critical pieces that bring all of our work together. You'll see EdTech and ARI and school improvement and instructional services and so forth. So if you have questions, things come up, I want you to know where this falls. And then if you don't know who to contact me and I'll put you in contact with the amazing team that leads these different sections. Before I pass it off to my friends, I wanted to always try to give you some slides and some information that you can turn around immediately to your teachers, to your board members, to your stakeholders, to your website, just to say, hey, did you know these things are going on? I was, in a meeting a few days ago with hundreds of people, and I mentioned some of the things I'm about to talk about, and I said, how many of you knew this? And I think maybe 2 hands raised. So whatever you can do to make sure that we are celebrating this incredible season Alabama is experiencing, please do. I always start with this because it has just been a very compelling story around the country. I'm looking in the room of my colleagues here. We are involved in a number of meetings. I know Jeff and Bonnie and Karen and others were working with Harvard University, who's doing a study on we want to know what's happening in Alabama. We're working with another group with CCSSO called States Leading States, where Dr. Anderson's team and AMSTI and others are all coming together to say, okay, this is what we're doing. Help us consider what we can do to continue growing. But if there's something that we're doing that helps another state, then that's a blessing to us. So our growth from 52nd to 32nd and 49th to 34th has been just an incredible journey. And everybody has been part of this. Everyone touches these numbers that we see. There is a lot of conversation around the Southern surge. If you've not Googled that, I hope that you do. Folks are talking about, look what's going on in the South. Mississippi, a few years ago, folks were talking about the Mississippi Miracle. And Alabama, we have just swooped in there and did what good teachers do. We looked at what some of our sister states have done. We admired and acquired and made it work for our state. And so what we're seeing are those dividends just paying off. Just so excited, but these are just some things I wanted to make sure you had access to share with your folks. I was looking to see what I had not shared when we met in the fall, but this is actually from the summer, and somehow it did not make the slide deck last time, but I think it's such a inspirational story to see how Alabama, the schools and the students that have the most to grow are the ones that are growing the fastest. That is incredible. And we're always talking in our team about being gap standards for children, gap standards for our community, for one another, and this is proof of the pudding, so to speak. We're seeing that happen, and it's just been amazing. For our big kids, we have been celebrating that we have the highest graduation rate and college career readiness rates that we have ever seen. I see Sean. We were in a meeting with College Board a couple months ago with Dr. Mackey, and we were really bragging about this last year, but we are even higher this year. Looking at our PSAT scores, we see that our 10th graders scored 118 points higher than the national average. Our 11th graders scored 77 points. So we're looking here at Alabama Public Schools, 1016, U.S. Public Schools, 898. That is incredible. And just so that you know, we're talking about over 4,700 students in our state, not 300. Almost 5,500 11th graders took this assessment, and we see that they are just doing a fantastic job. So to see our college going students, a comparison to our other states' college going students is really something. And for a number of years, we have been leading the pack for attendance, but we are, as if Dr. Warfield is in the room, or she always says, well, if you go to Google, it says Alabama's number one, and that is true. But on paper, we are tied with New Jersey for number one in terms of attendance, having the lowest chronic absence. There's been a lot of media attention around that. You know, we as teachers kind of laugh like, go figure, you know, kids come to school and we're seeing growth. It's a crazy thing. But whatever you're doing in your schools, continue doing that. We are going around the state because we want to know what are our middle and high schools doing to mitigate chronic absence and how that looks different from our elementary schools. We may talk about in a minute. We're part of this national attendance challenge that we were asked to participate so that once again we can share some of the things that Alabama is doing to help our students make sure and their parents know that coming to school is critical. If you're new, we said this time we don't want to share slides we've already shared because we are doing this in a different format now. But if you are new, I would say make sure that you are checking out our website. It is incredible. Every day it gets bigger and better. We were able to create an intranet, not internet, an intranet, which the consumer is you. Your teachers, those that are practitioners in the building. We wanted to create a space that you can find what you need within 2 or 3 clicks. That was our goal. 3 clicks. If it takes more than 3 clicks, we're doing something wrong. So I encourage you to look at each of these sections to find information that you want. But I would have to say the thing that probably gets the most attention is our OSL running updates. All of these are hyperlinked. The OSL running updates are updated almost daily, if not daily. We are always adding information. We do this by month, but it goes back now 3 years. I have just started my 4th year in this role, and we have just had a running record of all of the things that we know you need to know. So you can just go to this document, save it in your drive, do a keyword search for something you need because we have it hyperlinked in there somewhere. And what we try to do is if it's on the state website on Alabama Cheese, we link right to it so that you don't even have to go to the state website to find it. We've already hyperlinked that information. So I would encourage you, if you do not already, make yourself put it on your calendar because I do not send this out as an email. That's why I did this, is so I'm not killing your inbox. Is we are putting the information as we get it. That's why we call it running updates. So on your calendar, maybe a reminder every Monday, every Friday, whatever works for you to check the OSL running updates because I promise you what you're looking for is likely there. This is another one. I know Joe might talk about this, but once again, this being a beginning of a new calendar year, don't forget we have these principal and leadership calendars. If you're not familiar with them, this isn't a calendar that is customized for an Alabama. We created this, the Office of School Improvement, in concert with all of these faces that I'm seeing on my screen to think about what does an Alabama accomplished teacher need to do, accomplished principal need to do in June, July, August, September, with a list of like things to think about. This is not a compliance document. It is supposed to be a gift to our new and veteran principals, but also to you as those who supervise and provide support to our building level principals and administrators to be able to ask very thoughtful questions. I'm a secondary person, so when I was a curriculum director and I was working with my elementary schools and my elementary principals, I needed lots of love because that was just not an experience I had had. So you will see this principal calendar even has reminders for if you're an elementary principal, these are things to think about. Because some of you gave us grief that we did that for the principals. You said, well, what about us? The curriculum people, our instructional coaches. So the Office of School Improvement, once again, working with other sections, created that for you as well. If it was me, I would be downloading these to my Google Drive or whatever, whatever you use, and I would add my own things to make that calendar for Melissa Shields, for my district, for my school. But I always want to tell folks that's there because that is an incredible amount of work each year to update that and get that ready for you. The only other new thing that I could think of that was like really timely is we just released the new National Board Scholarship on Monday. So, or for us, just a few days ago. So those applications are due March 31st. If you click on this link, it's going to take you to the application. It has like a video and like, here's some things that you need to think about. It's got lots of resources and tools. So please share that with those. I think it's an awesome time to tap a teacher or a counselor or a librarian or whoever might be interested in pursuing National Board and say, I think you've got what it takes. Here's the application. That's just an awesome thing to build some confidence for your teachers. And of course, the winter conference is coming up at the end of the month. I could not tell you, since I'm talking about National Board, since we're bragging on Alabama. Alabama is within the top 10 in a number of areas for National Board. This will change in 2 weeks because this is still the 25 data. And since NBCTs were just announced a few weeks back, we are very excited to see what it looks like because we had more, I think it was 318 teachers who certified in December. That is the most Alabama has ever had. So really exciting. Sean also might be talking about this, but I'm just throwing some information about America 250, the semi-quincentennial. I prefer to say America 250, but these are some resources. We want all of our schools to really be engaged in a lot of the opportunities for our students to learn more about what that is. So we provided some information for you, but I know AMSTI, I know, of course, our history folks are doing some incredible things that are very centric to Alabama. So be aware of that. I see Jeff, who is also, several of us are in multiple meetings today. Y'all know what that's like. I did want to share with you there, I'm sure you're aware, there was a new law that passed last year called the Teacher Paperwork Streamlining Act, and we have been busy. We have been working with teachers that most of them are Alabama Teachers of the Year, Sweet 16s, Milken winners. I mean, just incredible. The law required that, is it 75%, Jeff, that the committee be made up of 75% teachers, and it's like you can have one curriculum person, one principal. So I will say we have been working, and it has been amazing. I put a link to that law that you might want to share with your principals and your board as we're thinking about the demands we're putting on our teachers. This is a really good time to have some thought partnerships about what we can do at the local level, what we can do at the school level, because what we have found is when we ask teachers, like questions, sometimes the school is requiring this and the district is requiring this and then they're like, well, the state says so. And then when we met with the teachers, like, that's not us. So there's some misconceptions. Jeff, anything you would add to that?
No, I think that's great. It's really been an honor to work with the group. They've been really excited to dive into it, and they are continuing to be excited about it. This work continues. It's not a one and done or even a 1 year and done. This is an ongoing initiative. And so the committee has been really excited to dive into it. We just met last week at the beginning of January and kind of talked about what we wanted to accomplish this spring. So I would say in addition to this, just to be on the lookout, we're creating a public-facing Google site or document that will be accessible to teachers and for our districts, just with some of the information about what we've covered in the meeting, what we're looking at accomplishing, and then also giving a place for our teachers to have a voice about the paperwork, because we may not know exactly where the suggestions could be or how things could be even further streamlined. So we want to give all of our teachers in the state a voice to have. Yeah, you can head to the next slide, Dr. Shields. This presentation is actually on the State Board of Education site as well, where you can live stream the videos. And we got to present to the state board in November, early December, excuse me. And so they were really excited to talk about it as well. There's some momentum behind it at all levels. And definitely we know that the digital platforms are, we think that makes things quicker, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but that's included in those demands of paperwork for teachers. So I love the quote at the bottom of this screen. This is actually from a teacher in the state on our survey that we sent out, who said the more digitized we become, the more paperwork we seem to have to fill out. And that's not what anybody wants to accomplish. And so a lot of this has been about shifting mindsets and creating a vision for why some paperwork is necessary and really how it drives our instruction for students and drives student achievement. So more later. We're excited about the work. And if you want to know more, you're welcome to reach out to me or Dr. Shields anytime.
Thanks, Jeff. It has been a lot of fun. We did survey, got a great feedback from teachers. They did not hold back. They had lots to say about paperwork. And we did find it really interesting because we asked them, like, how many of you are familiar with PowerSchool? And like 70% of the teachers were like, yeah, I know what PowerSchool is. I use that all the time. But when we asked them about how to use, analytics and insights to be able to streamline, it was interesting, only 25% of the teachers seemed to have an understanding of that, which was a great wake-up call. I would say, wouldn't you say, Jeff, probably the biggest things we heard were attendance, because folks were like, I have to do attendance here, 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 and here, and lesson plans. A lot of discussion about lesson plans. But I just wanted you to know we are still in those early conversations with this committee. It has been fantastic, but this committee is, even the law says that the State Department cannot create additional paperwork demands on teachers unless it goes through this committee. So I say that to say, be thinking about what you're doing at the local level. Certainly we are, anytime we do something, we're like, that's additional paperwork for us or for our schools. So we have really started to, think about paperwork demands for you as well as those for our teachers. So with that, we've got some folks that had some conflicts today, so we moved our schedule around. So I am going to pass it on to Career Tech, and I'm going to make sure that she has the opportunity to, let's see, to move I'll do the first one for you to move the slides. I'm sorry, Dawn.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shields. Again, good afternoon, good morning to each and every one of you for joining us for the winter curriculum and instruction updates. My particular segment for the next few fleeting moments will focus on some key developments and opportunities within the Office of Career Tech and Workforce Development that directly impact instructional planning, student readiness, as well as workforce alignment. And so the first slide that you see, really I want to focus on the program guides. And as you can see that I have placed a little highlighted marker there that says updates are coming soon. We are very much well aware that you all are underway for planning for the 26-27 academic year. And I would imagine that it will be my hope that by the time we all get to the in-person meeting early February, that those updates to the program guides will be made available to you at the on the alabamaachieves.org website. But I don't think that it will hinder any progress because there are no new courses that will be rolled out, with the exception of just two that I will share with you in the next slide. So the 25-26 program guides will continue to serve you well with regard to planning for the 26-27 academic year. And so with that being said, I want to build on the foundation that we are certainly excited to highlight the Advanced Placement Career Kickstart Initiative that is coming to us through the College Board. We're pleased that we are going to be able to support the launch of 2 brand new courses under the AP Career Kickstart Initiative that will be made available to all LEAs in fall of 2026. As you can see, the first course title is going to be called AP Business with Personal Finance. The course code has been provided for you there. It will impact a total of 15 career tech programs. Those specific programs have been identified for you right there on the slide. And the second course that will launch under this initiative is called AP Cybersecurity. You see the course code provided for you on the slide as well, and it will be integrated into 3 of our CTE programs. And so if you want to learn more about College Board's new Career Kickstart courses, I would suggest that you scan the QR code right there on the slide, but also there is a upcoming webinar at the end of this month. And I don't want to take too much from what Sean is going to be sharing, but I believe someone on his team will be sharing the dates for that particular webinar that will be hosted by College Board in collaboration with A+ College Ready. So again, we are super excited. This effort does expand access to advanced coursework in the career tech space with emphasis on high demand career pathways. And so we do encourage all of our LEAs to explore scheduling these courses and also collaborating across, certainly departments, whether it be bridging academics and career tech, to support implementation of these brand new courses for fall of 2026. Next slide. So now I do want to turn our attention to CRIs and declared programs. This continues to be a little bit of a problem within our LEAs. So we do want to just restate as accountability reminder that students must be formally declared in the CTE programs offered within their LEAs in order to be eligible to sit for an approved CRI and to have those results count toward CCR accountability. This declaration must occur annually. So not only must the declaration occur annually, but it also ensures that our data systems truly reflect current program declarations and that your teams are aligned on reporting timelines. If you have need of where to access the current career readiness indicator list, I've provided that link right there below at the bottom of the screen. And if we could just go on to the next slide. So shifting our focus a little bit from accountability to a moment of celebration, we certainly want to celebrate innovation and excellence within the Office of Career Tech and Workforce Development. And so we are pleased to announce that the following programs and LEAs, specific schools have been selected as host sites for the 2026 CTE Career Cluster Spotlight video series. And so kudos to Gulf Shores High School. We will be highlighting their supply chain and transportation program, Goshen High School, agriculture, Thompson High School for construction, Russellville High School for healthcare and human services, Deschler Career Technical Center, financial services, Sheffield High School, marketing and sales, and rounding us out will be Fort Payne High School, where we will be highlighting their hospitality events and tourism program. I do want you to pay close attention to the clusters that I just identified. I refer to them as programs, but they're really programs within those clusters. And that actually takes us to, I think, the next slide that actually highlights the new career clusters framework. We've already transformed our data collection system to mirror these brand new clusters. And so as we start rolling out information and highlighting careers and programs, specifically, career clusters, we are beginning to share at a very high level the names of the new clusters just to begin to acclimate you all to the new names. This has no impact on courses of study right now. As we begin the course of study revision process, that is then when we will adopt the new names for those clusters. But certainly with regard to data collection, specifically for the 25-26 academic year, those new cluster names are already in play. Looking ahead, we are preparing for the upcoming CTSO state leadership conferences, and we have numerous opportunities for you all across the entire state to support our Alabama CTSOs, which are career and technical student organizations. In some instances, we need upwards of 120 judges for some of our state leadership conferences. So if time avails, certainly we encourage you to jump in and to provide support in the area of judging for our Alabama DECA State Leadership Conference, which is the first one right out the gate on February 19th and 20th, along with HOSA, February 26th, 27, FCCLA, March 5th and 6th. And those three conferences are actually local in the central part of our state, and they will be held right in downtown Montgomery at the Renaissance. And then April 23rd, 24th is our Alabama FBLA State Leadership Conference. Certainly, we have several other CTSOs, but these are the ones that are in need of judges, and these are certainly the first two are coming up pretty quickly. So again, if you can avail your time to serving, or if you have folks in your sphere of influence, share the QR codes with them. And so thank you so much for your support of Alabama CTSOs. Finally, I do want you all to mark your calendars now for the statewide Computer Science Summit to be held on April the 13th. This event will certainly bring together educators, leaders, and industry partners to explore instructional strategies, workforce trends, and innovation in the area of computer science education. Details about registration and also hotel information is already posted. You can scan the QR code. It'll take you to our landing page for CS for Alabama with regard to those details. I do want to say, as we speak about the Computer Science Summit, this is the last summit for our sitting governor, Governor Kay Ivey, and she has been a strong support for computer science education in the state. And so we do want to make this particular summit extra special for her, as this will be the last one during her tenure. And then in closing, once again, just thank you for your continued commitment and support to offering high quality career and technical education programs in your respective LEAs. And as always, if our team can support you in your efforts, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And we just look forward to working together as we move into the spring semester. Thank you so much for this time. And I'm going to pass it off to the next teammate.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Tara Jackson from the Special Education Services section of the Instructional Services team. I'm here to give you a few updates. I promise you this will be short and sweet because, as the saying goes, good things come in small packages. So let's begin by discussing our live binders. It was designed with teachers in mind to provide links to any and all common resources. The General Education Toolkit offers information about academic standards, assistive technology, behavior resources, essential pathways, math instruction resources, ELA resources, the Literacy Act, transition, special programs, UDL, etc. There's also a link to other special education services resources like our policies and procedures, our professional learning series, and any updates that we may have. The Alternate Achievement Toolkit contains much of the same, including accommodations, resources like education.com, toolkits for AAS teachers, adaptive PE, course catalog, resources on life skills instruction, sensory laws, and information on learning processes for students with the most significant cognitive delays. Now, both are extremely valuable resources for teachers and building level administrators. If you have any suggestions or additions that could be useful to teachers, please use the contact information below. Next, we have the Differentiated Instruction Guide. It's a companion to the course of study. It goes a step further than the former curriculum guide. It contains the standards and progression of learning necessary for learning each content standard. It contains prior knowledge skills necessary to construct a student's connections between old and new knowledge. And the prior knowledge skills that are identified help teachers develop instruction that build on student strengths. Now, special education teachers can use the DIG as an instructional tool and goal development resource, but others can benefit as well. General education teachers may have students in their classroom that have difficulty with the standard. That includes those with and without disabilities. Those teachers can use this as an instructional tool as well. Administrators can use. Next, we have the Differentiated Instruction Guide. It's a companion to the course of study. It goes a step further than the former curriculum guide. It contained. I'm hearing myself. Okay. Administrators can use the DIG as part of their multi-tiered system, and I'm sure there are other professionals that can find ways to utilize it. Now, we have an urgent need for teachers to help in the development of the social studies DIG. If you know anyone that would like to help the children of Alabama in this manner, please have them fill out the link in the form below. The same goes for the alternate achievement standards. We need educators willing to help with the review and revision of the social studies alternate achievement standards. Their collaboration would be greatly appreciated. That was that slide that I just went over. Okay, the alternate achievement toolkits are now available for all tested grades and subjects. That is math and ELA, grades 2 through 8, 10, and 11. Science, grades 4, 6, 8, and 11. If you have any questions related to the alternate achievement standards or AAS, please contact Elizabeth Newell. And lastly, we've tried to make it easier for the teachers of students on the essential pathways by outlining all of the critical standards on each of the tabs in the Essentials Live Binder. That's all I have for this time. And next we will have the Office of Mathematics Improvement with Dr. Anderson.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to address you all today. Today, we'll just go through some expectations in terms of instruction, building-based mathematics coaches, and summer learning. As a reminder, these teacher expectations are listed in the Alabama Numeracy Act. These expectations are for all teachers, regardless of whether they are in a virtual or a brick and mortar school, whether the teachers have a traditional certificate or emergency certificate. These expectations apply and actually provide a wonderful opportunity when PLC conversations are happening. For example, if we're looking at expectation number 7, using data, gathering data to determine next instructional steps. Perhaps when we're having that PLC discussion question, how do you know that students know what they know? The individual standards. this is a great way to apply that this particular expectation as you're reviewing student work. Hopefully, the student supports flowchart is not new. We have shared it in a number of different venues, including professional learning opportunities. This is a way to show how all three tiers of instruction all work together, beginning with the administration of the formative benchmark assessment, beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of year. You should be reviewing your middle of the year data at this time. After the screeners had been administered, really excited that we have a fractional reasoning screener for the first time through Forefront. So that screener information is available, and all of that is used to inform Tier 1 instruction. After assessing that data, let's look at whether or not students respond to Tier 1. Do adjustments to Tier 1 to the actual instruction need to be made? Some students will need additional grade level instruction in a Tier 2 setting. And if students continue to demonstrate a consistent deficiency based on multiple data points, not just one, then Tier 3 instruction would be in order. The evidence-based practices include not just our mathematics teaching practices, such as using mathematical goals to focus learning, posing purposeful questions, supporting productive struggle. You know, those 8 evidence-based practices or mathematics teaching practices that come from the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. Well, we call these the foundational 4: systematic instruction, mathematical language, multimodal instruction, and assessment and feedback. To guide Tier 3 instruction, there are a variety of resources that you can find online that help you access support so that information can be appropriately placed in PowerSchool and Analytics. I'll share later how to access this information, but the first is guidelines, so you can just click there, as you can see listed, and get information about creating interventions, collecting Tier 3 data. The document in the middle is a list of step-by-step instructions. And the third are examples of how to access reports that could be sent home to parents or guardians. This is the list of all assessment windows over the course of the year. Conversations have been had between on the reading and the math side, so that this is a comprehensive assessment window summary that also includes assessments such as ACAP and the 4th summer learning benchmark assessment administration as well. Please, please, please be sure that you are adhering to these guidelines. Statewide reports are generated based on data that is collected within these windows that are accurate and timely. Please, please, please ensure that you are adhering to these windows. And if there are any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to those in our office. Transitioning to a math coach, we have approximately 630 math coaches in the field right now. We are developing guidance so that those who are next on the schedule to receive an allocation for a math coach, that information should be coming soon. If you do not yet have a math coach, please be sure that you're adhering to these qualifications. In summary, your candidates for the math coach position should be certified, experienced, and have mathematics expertise, and should also take instructional initiative. These are specifically referenced again in the Numeracy Act, so the certification must be valid, a minimum of 5 years experience as an early childhood educator, elementary or special educator. Specific mathematics expertise should be demonstrated, and instructional initiative should be taken in terms of professional learning, specifically in mathematics, that's been recommended by the Elementary Math Task Force, a master's degree, or both. This is the approximate timeline for rolling out math coaches. So we can see this year we are scheduled to assign an allocation to additional 175 schools. I'm not sure, let me make sure I'm saying that correctly because there's a difference between schools and coaches. There are some individual schools that are larger in size. The law states that schools that have enrollment at approximately 800 students earn 2 coaches. So I need to be very clear in my language. Approximately 175 coaches will be allocated. That will bring the total close to 800, so that by the time the fall of 2027 rolls around, all 841 coaches will be allocated and hopefully identified. The distribution of the allocation of $90,000 per individual coach will be done as according to a signed memorandum of agreement. And we ask that we receive notice in a timely fashion if there's turnover, if your math coach has to leave for some reason. Moving forward, the law states very clearly that there are specific duties and responsibilities for those coaches. Again, there's a $90,000 allocation per coach that has been appropriated by our legislators. And I know that they are expecting a specific return on their investment. At this time, with approximately 630 coaches in the field, that is $56,700,000 that is invested in our mathematics coaches. We are excited about this initiative. We are thrilled to be able to support these individuals as they provide support for our teachers who are ultimately impacting our students. So it is absolutely imperative that our math coaches perform these 20 responsibilities. They are not to be administrators. They're not to be technology directors. They are specifically designed, they are specifically asked to only do these 20 responsibilities and none other. Shifting to summer, mathematics camps will be staffed with highly effective teachers. Well, what does that particularly mean? The definition is right here coming from the law. A highly effective teacher is demonstrated by student math performance data. So those teachers should actually move their students. So their students with these teachers who are teaching over the summer, during the school year, those students should have made progress. These teachers should also take the personal initiative to improve their craft through professional learning. And also, their administrators should see that these are effective teachers through performance evaluations such as ATOP. I see Jeff Norris on the line, and I can just hear him as I was creating this particular slide. Although school stops for summer, learning never stops. Learning is always going, whether it's before school, after school, or in the summer, learning is always going on. So each school through the summer months should be sure that provided 60 minutes of math instruction in grades K through 3. 60 minutes should be provided. You'll see the next slide is 40 to 70 hours of math instruction for grades 4 and 5. I want to circle back to the grades K through 3 for just a moment. There are some schools, for example, that might allocate perhaps a month of summer learning, and perhaps maybe not on Fridays, maybe Monday through Thursday. So that's 4 days a week. Let's do the math. 4 days a week times 4 weeks, that's 16 hours of instruction. That's only 16 hours of mathematics instruction for grades K through 3. So it's really important that we are intentional with that learning, intentional with the 40 to 70 hours in grades 4 and 5 as well. Please know that it's important to assess that fourth benchmark administration, assess after instruction using the same formative benchmark assessment that was used for beginning, middle, and end of year. And your summer program should exist with other programs. There might be a Boys and Girls Club down the line where your students will shift to for a full, rich day of summer learning. Be sure that we're constantly communicating with our communities to ensure that our students get the best possible summer learning experience. And finally, there are a number of resources that are available with the evidence-based practices that I mentioned earlier, such as systematic instruction. You can find walkthrough forms. So if you go to omi.alsde.edu and click on evidence-based practices, you can find all of these resources and the intervention resources that I spoke of earlier, the clickable pages you can find under the intervention section if you go to the teaching and learning drop down at the OMI website. That concludes my portion, and I turn things over to Sean Stevens in Instructional Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Dr. Shields, did you need to unshare and reshare?
Let me do that right now.
Sure. While Dr. Shields is doing that, just wanted to, again, thank everyone for taking the time to spend a little bit of time with each of our various sections within the department and to receive some really important information. And then also just thank you for also coming prepared to our new structures of our curriculum instruction meetings. We've had so many positive comments and positive feedback, and just wanted to again continue to try to meet the needs of our districts, and hope that you'll be able to come to our curriculum instruction meetings and actually spend time both networking with others, but also being able to plan, share best practices and ideas from your districts, and also how to implement the various things that we have going on in our state. The first of my items involves data integrity. Wanted to just mention for a few moments the importance that the role you play, the important role you play, but also just that you as a school and district leader, how you influence and impact both all of our data, but most importantly, the integrity of our data with regard to student records. I know I'm going to ask Dr. Shields to unmute and just say a few words about this as well with me, but wanted to just highlight a couple of things that we're seeing throughout the state that we would like your help in just in ensuring the integrity of it. First being our attendance data. We are aware of many districts who are making some decisions based on both. The decisions should be based off of the attendance manual and of course any of our state, both laws and administrative codes. But however, again, when making decisions about attendance, especially working with your administrators on that, it's so important that they have the definitions and that they adhere to those definitions when making decisions on students' absences being excused, unexcused, and any of those various codes that they use, because we all know that the decisions that are made administratively regarding attendance actually impacts and influences your school's chronic absenteeism rate, but also our state's. Dr. Shields, you want to help me and say a few words about this? We have some school leaders who are making some decisions that unfortunately aren't the right decision, and later on may end up having to be held accountable for some of those decisions. We have seen some redefinitions of things like homebound. We have seen some redefinition or some definitions of school activity that involve things that have nothing to do with schools. And Dr. Shields, I'll give you a moment to kind of talk about that as well.
I think you nailed it, but the most important thing is looking at those that have access to input data. That includes your support staff in the office, just to make sure that there's, checks and balances. Because, a lot of times the things that come to discovery were not, malicious or on purpose, but certainly can have lots of ripple effects. So we wanted to make sure we really stress the importance of data integrity, since we are doing so well with attendance. There's a lot of scrutiny on that. So we want to make sure that those attendance codes and how we are taking our students' excuses and those sorts of things are being coded correctly. But Sean, I thought you did a great job.
And again, just a reminder, I mean, regardless of the role that you play, it's important to be the voice of both reason and to take the responsibility that we all have both professionally and ethically to ensure that our students' records are correct, accurate to the best that we possibly can. They deserve that, but then also that we're a voice when people are making decisions that most likely aren't the best decisions that they could make, that we're that voice to remind them that they have a duty to do what's right, and that the last thing anyone ever wants to do is have something to be called into question. So just want to mention that about data integrity, and just know that you have some role in that, and if nothing else, just as an advocate for all of those folks in our districts and schools that work with data. Next thing, just wanted to mention, again, as we enter the spring semester and as we approach the end of the school year, a couple of just quick reminders. Of course, our students and their graduation pathways, specifically this year being the first for our option B or workforce pathway within the diploma options and graduation requirements. Just a reminder, and hope that you will help us with this, that all students must have a graduation pathway indicated in PowerSchool. There certainly should not be students who have that field empty. Remember, as a reminder, that the decisions that are made about the graduation pathways impact several different areas within data later on, including how students are reflected in a school's report card, their state report card, as well as athletic eligibility. And so please help us ensure that all students have a graduation pathway indicated in PowerSchool. A reminder that students pursuing the general ed pathway, the option B, must have approved signed forms, and those forms must be made available at request. We will begin monitoring no later than March 1st. What we'll do is most likely go through you and possibly the counseling coordinator as to kind of points of contact, even if you serve both of those roles, where we'll actually provide you with a list, a random sample list of students that we would like for you to send us both their parents' approval and school approval forms that match what you guys have indicated in PowerSchool. So if you'll help us with that, that would be that's really important. Again, this being the first year, and how students who are pursuing option B, the workforce pathway, impact accountability. We just want to be both a thought partner and a partner in general, just to help ensure that our data is accurate, and that later on we're not having to try to explain to someone how their data can't be changed. Dr. Shields, Shanitra, our entire team is we're well versed in having to explain to various school leaders that how after the fact there's nothing that can be done because we don't have the means in which to make changes. And so just if you'll help us with that with your schools and make them aware of those requirements, I really appreciate that, especially as we approach the end of the school year. And I know that we'll talk a little bit more about this when we're together in February, but also that you as a curriculum leader are also working with school leaders at preparing for what we will do for students who don't meet the graduation requirements, and what options will be made available to those students who don't. Obviously, if they don't meet the graduation requirements from a credit standpoint, but then also those that are pursuing the general ed pathway who haven't earned a college and career readiness indicator this year, what does your district and each of your schools have in place to help those students potentially earn one over the summer and beyond? Dr. Shields, you want to say anything about that?
No, I appreciate that, though. We're all navigating, lots of opportunities for our students. So we know there have been questions. Just going back to what you mentioned about option B, don't forget on our website and on our rolling updates that I just mentioned, we are always taking questions around option B, because this is our, we're figuring it out. And so as we get questions that we've not entertained yet, we're responding to those. So be sure to look at our website around specific questions around option B, and also just maybe some considerations, things that you've not thought about before.
Absolutely. A couple of just really highlights on some things that we'd love to make you aware of, and also that you'll share with your school leaders and teachers. First are the sample 6 through 12 course syllabi that were created by many members of teams from across our agency came together. They're now available on the ALEX resource repository. They're sample secondary course syllabi in all content areas, and in most courses for those that have new teachers or those veteran teachers that are looking to maybe do a refresher of their own course syllabi, I encourage you to at least share that information with any of your curriculum leads. There might be something that they find beneficial from those. There are quite a few examples, and I appreciate our entire team that worked on those to make those available. I know that so many of you require those to even potentially be sent to you as a curriculum leader or even at the school level. And so if there's anything that you guys can admire and acquire from that, we're more than happy for you to take advantage of that opportunity. And again, I appreciate the team who came together to help create those.
And Sean, we've been asked, this is not just core courses.
That's
This was
all subject areas.
That's right. So we got some really great requests. Like we just want to see a syllabus. We still want to see a really strong course outline. Please note on the side, we're like, this is not like the only way to do it, but because it was asked of us to provide some samples, I got a shout out to many on that I'm looking at on the team came together. It was a tremendous effort, but we're really excited to be able to offer that to you.
Absolutely. As you know, it seems as if once we conclude the development and approval of one course of study, we begin another. But we also, as we conclude the textbook adoption process for one subject area or course of study, we then begin a new one. And so currently we're recruiting members for the digital literacy and computer science textbook adoption cycle. Again, the law requires that we must have 14 educators that include both from elementary, secondary, each state board district, a few at large, and then those that come from both post-secondary and higher ed. Again, as always, we appreciate you submitting names of teachers who will benefit both from the process, but also share their expertise as they select a list of high quality instructional materials from which you at the district level will then choose. I would encourage you to please make this available to any of your teachers who work in digital literacy and computer science content areas and courses, and help us with that task force, bringing that task force together and selecting the very best that can be utilized in the classroom. Maria, I know you're on here, so I'm going to turn it over to you for a few minutes just to give them a few updates on English learners.
Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon. I just have a couple of updates, but the main one and the one I'm most proud of is this. We have the English Learner Guidebook available to you now and on the website. And the beauty of this guidebook is that now contains 3 of our sections together. So we have the Instructional Services, federal programs, and now we just added student assessment. So everything that you need to shop for is here. And if there are any questions or something that you need further clarification on, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at the State Department or any of your regional specialists. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I wanted just to make sure that that you are aware that we still are holding our office hours the third Thursday of the month usually, but I have the list here available for you. And then we also have our quarterly meeting coming up on January 22nd is the next one where we meet virtually this time with all the English learner administrators. And we hope to provide a lot of information during that time. And in the other part of the slide, you can find the quarterly newsletter that was sent out. This is the QR code will take you to the most recent one. So this is all for English learners. And if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you for our entire EL team who's out there supporting your schools and districts. Again, as Maria mentioned, anytime you have a question, anytime that they can provide support for you, your school leaders and your classroom teachers, we hope that you'll reach out and certainly responsive. And I appreciate, Maria, everything that you guys have done to help ensure that that guidebook is as comprehensive as possible and it's something that can be utilized. Of course, we certainly can't have a curriculum instruction meeting without talking about our upcoming secondary learning exchange. Of course, this will be the third installment of this year's secondary learning exchange. First, just to mention how much positive feedback and how many comments we've received from your staff mentioning about how much they've been able to take away, both from the in-person, but then also those night shift sessions. And so on February 5th, with a couple of exceptions, we have master scheduling data analysis that will be brought to at least all 11 of the regions in some way or in at some location. And then, of course, really looking forward to the authentic assessment session that'll be in March. Again, those dates are available on our OSL running updates. I know that if you have staff that have not registered yet, please, they can continue to register. We're looking forward to the master scheduling one. So we've worked really hard on this next installment, and looking forward to seeing your staff at the next secondary learning exchange. Professional development opportunities. There's a QR code here that can help you navigate to all of them different opportunities that exist from our Alabama MTSS professional learning series, everything from professional learning communities to problem solving teams, academics, behavior, foundational wellness, school leadership. By all means, we would love for you to view what is available, but then also if you have questions, you can reach out to Christy Shankles. Of course, as you've already heard from many of our other sections and team members, we have open office hours for MTSS, along with OMI, ARI, and student information systems with our Power School coaches. Anything related to or regarding SHRIPs or PST plans or interventions, and how that you can better equip your educators with using Power School analytics and insights. I hope you'll join us on the third Friday between 10:30 and 11:30, where you can come and ask all the questions and really hear from the experts at how to utilize all of our tools more efficiently and effectively. Again, here's just a quick list and contacts for all of our MTSS regional and state staff. If you're interested in being part of a full alignment, the full alignment process, and being one of a full alignment district for 2026 and 2027, please contact one of our members to find out more about the process. We'll be making those decisions about which districts we will work with next in that first beginning stage of MTSS, and we'd love to have your district be one of those. A couple of final announcements and just information. I know many of you have reached out to find out information regarding the non-traditional high school diploma option and the effects of the REACH Act on your schools. We're currently routing a memo for Dr. Mackey's signature that hopefully will be published prior to our visits or being together on February the 2nd. Just a few quick notes. The REACH Act was passed back in 2025, and in that it actually allows for a student who drops out and then enrolls in adult ed in an adult ed program at one of our community colleges. For then, upon enrollment verification at the school level, you can then update the student's dropout exit codes to an appropriate one. That information is included in the memo. And of course, once that happens, then that student may be removed from your graduation cohort. Again, that information is in the upcoming memo, but also we have a technical assistance webinar that'll be held on February 4th at 10. If you want to register, you can click here, but we'll also record it and make it available at the conclusion of it to anyone who's unable to join. Also excited, I know Don mentioned a few of these earlier, but just at the opportunities that the College Board, in our collaboration with College Board and our collaboration with A+ College Ready, there's several professional learning opportunities that are coming up that we hope that you'll share with your school leaders and educators. The first, we have a statewide webinar on 5 AP courses that are transforming Alabama classrooms. This, of course, is for district and school leaders, AP coordinators, school counselors, and any of those staff who work directly or want to work directly with advanced placement. That's on Tuesday, January the 27th from 4 to 5. Again, it's virtual and we'll record it. Also, how to use the SAT results to unlock AP potential. That one's on Wednesday, January the 28th. And then finally, an in-person workshop on building your implementation toolkit. We're excited about the expansion of our AP course offerings to include AP Business with Personal Finance, as well as what Dawn mentioned with AP Cybersecurity. But we have an in-person workshop that we hope that you will help share with both teachers who teach AP Seminar in English 10, as well as any of your business marketing teachers who are interested in teaching the new AP Business with Personal Finance course. That's on Monday, February the 9th from 9 to 12 at the Faulkner campus in Hoover. Registration information can be found here, and we hope to see you there. Really excited about the opportunities for our AP program to expand into various elective and non-core areas. And so this is just a step forward. And of course, just to kind of preview, it is our plan for AP Business and AP Cybersecurity to be one of our priority courses for next year. And so we'll be able to provide quite a bit of support for those, and we'll be looking forward to more information about that as the semester as we finish the semester. A couple last things. The Advanced Placement Digital Room for Alabama educators, if you use this link, you'll find really a true one-stop hub for all kinds of things that's related to the College Board and advanced placement. You'll also be able to find out information on our summer 2026 AP and pre-AP summer institutes, so be looking for those. Again, as a reminder, this school year, the department fully funds all AP exams for low-income students, of course, with students being eligible for that fee reduction waiver. Then the department picks up the remaining cost of those, as well as the department fully funds the AP exam fees for these designated courses you see here, which are AP Computer Science Principles, AP Pre-Calculus, AP Environmental Science, and then AP Seminar English 10. We know that we continue to see expansion of these courses and others through our schools. And if you're interested in learning how to bring one of these courses to your schools, I hope that you'll reach out to Dr. Robinson or myself or one of our content specialists to see how best that they can help with supporting that. Again, March 13th is the final deadline for spring course orders and fall order changes. And again, students register for exams that are expected to actually take them. Here's just a preview of the pre-AP summer institutes that we'll be bringing to Alabama this summer from June 9th to June 12th. We wanted you to go ahead and have this in your hands so that you could encourage your teachers from the various subject areas to attend. Even if you don't teach pre-AP, let's say that you have teachers who are teaching honors, and they really could benefit from this. It's not just for our core areas, but also for leadership, including sessions on for visual and performing arts. And so we hope that you will share that information with your staff. Again, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you just in a couple of weeks. And I will now pass this off to my colleague, Jeff Norris.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is about an hour and a half into the video. So if you need to stand up and stretch and you haven't pressed pause yet, this is a really good time to take a stretch break, press pause. You're about halfway through. Excited that you're here, excited that you have come hopefully to the in-person session as well. And thank you for continuing to invite the Office of Extended Learning into your district's work. So just a couple of quick things today. Number one, we always like to start with our funding sources. We're really excited that our ASAP grants are in the final stages of the awarding, depending on when you watch this video. So we are working on our public announcement and getting those signed, but we have a really quick visual. You can see that they are all over the state of Alabama. We have awarded over 190 applications this year. A lot of those were community groups that we awarded funding for, and partnerships between school districts and our community groups, which is really exciting. What I wanted to tell you most about this year, the Office of Extended Learning has hired 3 new retired state employees, and those are going to be offering regional supports for our ASAP grants as well as our districts. And so they'll be reaching out to you, probably to you, the directors, or a CNI director contact in your district. So if you don't mind forwarding their email to the correct person who oversees extended learning, that would be really fantastic and help us get this information to the right people. More on ASAP later. Check out our website if you want to know more about that. It's a really great resource for summer and after school programming though. For everyone, summer learning guidance is available. We have 2 documents that we are working on. The first one is, you'll notice, looks familiar to last year if you were in this position. This was sent out in a memo in, I believe it was March or April last year. We actually have made it now a live document. So this document is always available on the OXL website, or you can access the link through this presentation. It will also be sent in the memo in the spring with all of our other summer camp information. But now is the time when a lot of our districts are starting planning for summer. So that summer learning guidance document is really valuable for our districts. There are lots of resources in there. There are planning tools, calendars, all kinds of resources. So I hope that you will check it out and you will use it. One thing that we had as a goal for our section over the past year has really been developing schedules and samples and spotlight practices and all kinds of tips for our districts, because the possibilities really are endless for summer programming. We've really been talking a lot about shifting mindsets and moving beyond the mandate. We know that a lot of our districts really look at the Literacy Act and Numeracy Act. Those provide structure to our summer camps, but those are also the minimum requirements. And so I know Dr. Anderson mentioned earlier, really creating those really high quality programs for our students. And so not everyone knows what all's out there. So we're excited to publish the Alabama fifth quarter possibility playbook this year. It's going to share all kinds of frameworks and tools and schedules and winning plays. They're going to be really visually like one pagers, if you can kind of picture this, with just quick hitting ideas for our districts. So if you're sitting with your planning team, hopefully, and you say, oh, we've got some extra funding. We would really love to meet some needs for our students in the area of STEM or multicultural education. Let's say you want to increase the number of students who qualify for the Seal of Biliteracy. What could that look like in the summer? That's what this document will be about. It will give you some of those ideas. Again, not as prescriptions or as these are things you have to do, but these are just things that you could consider as your district is making plans based on student needs that are in your district currently. So be on the lookout for those two things. Next slide. So speaking of our memo, this went out last year in May. Everything is a lot more streamlined. We've worked really hard with the Office of Mathematics Improvement and the Alabama Reading Initiative to really streamline and keep our data as cohesive as possible, especially in regards to data collection and reporting. So that memo will be coming out in most likely in February this year. We're hoping to get it out to you really early so that your team can use it when you're making planning decisions. That memo will be like a one-stop shop. So what we hope will happen is in the fall will be your funding memos. So you'll get your supplemental appropriations. Fingers crossed that we receive that again next year for summer and after school programming will go out in the fall. The ASAP grant will go out in the fall, and your ETF budgets from the Alabama Reading Initiative and Office of Math Improvement will also go out in the fall. And then in the spring, we'll have everything else. So that would include registration for summer learning, which all K-12 schools have to do. Number 2, planning documents that you can use, including that guidance document and the possibility playbook. Number 3 and 4 go together, our data reporting and data collection. So it will talk through the exact requirements you'll have for your K-5 summer reading and math camps. We've also extended that now to our 6-12 students. So hopefully you got your feet wet last year and were able to really use analytics and insights to at least get numbers of students who were served in our secondary schools. We are not collecting information for the sake of collecting information. So we have condensed it down to the necessary requirements and the most useful information. We honestly don't want an extra burden on our teachers in the summer. We're grateful that they are there and that they're willing to serve our students. And so this doesn't need to be an additional burden. It really needs to be the most useful information. So we're really proud of the efforts we've made cross-section to streamline that information. And hopefully you'll see that even more this summer. So be looking for that memo around February. We'll post it everywhere as well, and you're always welcome to reach out for questions about that. Next slide. We have 2 new videos that we're really excited to acknowledge, and we have worked with ARI to create these videos. We were able to film in Jasper and in Jasper City and in Tuscaloosa City Schools some of their summer camps last summer. And so we have the spotlight videos about summer learning in Alabama and also summer reading camps. And there's some great information in these videos, really sweet videos of students learning at the elementary and at the secondary level. So there's some ideas in there. They're about 10 minutes long, 10 to 12 minutes. And so we would love for you to check those out. They're on our website. They'll also be posted in the OSL Writing Update site. And so to me, if you are meeting with your planning team, this is a really great resource just to start off your meeting, maybe get a few ideas and just get excited about summer learning. And then you can dive into that memo and those planning documents with your team. All right, next slide. Thank you, Dr. Shields. Two more, I think is where I'm at. This is really an exciting opportunity for extended learning. We have been asked for a while now. We're looking for leading adult learning. How do we facilitate conversations and professional learning for adults? And so many of you district leaders may have come straight from the classroom. So you spent maybe 10 or 15 or even 20 years teaching students. And so you're a great, you know, leader of student learning, but how does that feel different and look different when you're leading adults? So either at your district level or at regional level or state level, if you're looking for ways to energize those learning sessions, ways to really get transfer into practice for the adults that you lead, Kevin Cannell, Carissa Lambert, and I are putting together a PLU and CEU opportunity for this. The PLU is being developed right now. So probably by the time you watch this video, hopefully it will be approved. But the first meeting is in February. So we are going ahead and advertising it right now. So if you're interested in this, you can click on the link. You can visit the QR code to get more information, or you're welcome to email me or Kevin or Carissa to find out more information. We have sessions in North Alabama that will be in Athens, in Birmingham for Central Alabama, and in Auburn for South Alabama. For the PLU, you must attend both in-person sessions, and then there's going to be a short reading book study component. If you just want CEU credit or you're just interested in the topic, I highly recommend those February dates that are available, and it will be a really, really fantastic opportunity. I really can't get excited enough about it. We've been really having a lot of fun planning it, and we'd hope that you'll be there. All right, next slide. And one more. Perfect. Okay, so I mentioned our new retired state employees coming on board. This is really a great time. February, March is a really good time to start imagining the possibilities for summer learning. You are welcome to email me or call me. I'm happy to thought partner with you. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm happy to set up regional meetings with you inside your district or outside your district. And then, as always, our website's a great resource. There are some really fantastic podcasts that we've had, and we're going to continue to add to that collection with different districts around the state. So if you're looking for ideas, this is a really valuable time. Any other questions about extended learning, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Hello, everyone. Bonnie Short, Director of Alabama Reading Initiative. Thank you, Jeff. It's always exciting to think about the possibilities for summer learning and what it can do for literacy, as well as other areas of instruction. Thank you for navigating for us, Dr. Shields. I'm going to start off by reminding you a resource that we have that will go into data inquiry protocol for each of the assessment programs that you're currently using. This is on our ARI website. You click on each individual one. It gives guidance that was provided by the vendor, but that aligns with the Alabama Reading Initiative. And I see that my camera is going a little wonky, so apologies on that. We might need to reboot.
I like it. It's just a kind of a, dramatic effect. Go with
Yeah.
it.
I just wanted to get your attention, make sure everybody was paying attention.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're ready for the next slide. We have a virtual session coming up with Mel Ilk for district leaders. We strongly encourage you to do this. Mel Ilk is the author of Letters for Administrators, and she has given some great professional learning for our leaders, and we encourage you to take this on, join the session. It is virtual, and you're going to get a lot out of what she has to provide to support literacy. We have great news from Lexia. We were under a new RFP to determine our Science of Reading professional learning. We have a renewed contract with Lexia Letters, so we have more opportunities for you to ensure that all of your teachers are trained in phase 2 of the teacher continuum for professional learning in the science of reading. We've purchased letters on your behalf so that you as a district do not have to incur this. And this spring, we're really pushing the opportunity to have districts have their own cohorts for letters professional learning. If you have 30 or more teachers who need letters training, y'all can do this as a district, and the dates can be coordinated by you to ensure that you have professional learning on dates that best meet your needs. We'll still be doing letters professional learning on the individual basis the way we have been, but we think this is a great opportunity for you to really capitalize on maybe some days that you already have built into your calendars, and planning ahead is the key. So you can reach out to Karen Rutledge Bell to arrange opportunities for this professional learning, and also know that district course managers receive details in the January 29th, 2026 meeting at the virtual collaboratives. This is really great information and will help you become more aligned. Beyond grade 3 support opportunities, Misty Wilson has been on the road really cracking down. In fact, she's getting it on the road today, and she's providing the professional learning for our peer coaches. Well, we're going to have a second cohort of peer coaches, and a memorandum was just released yesterday for you to sign up for the opportunity for peer coaches. There's also a grant to support struggling readers beyond grade 3. So you're going to want to make sure that you grab this memorandum and that you fill it out for opportunities to have teachers on the peer coaching cohort, as well as some financial support for struggling readers beyond grade 3. Wow. Another memorandum came out today, and the Literacy Task Force was involved in reviews of interventions and assessments. These are both charged from the Alabama Literacy Act. Well, the assessments are in, and there will only be 4 assessment programs that will be approved beginning in the 26-27 school year. You'll notice that there are only 4 listed right there. So you're going to want to make sure you read through that. It'll explain why there's been a reduction in the number of assessments, but you're going to want to make sure that if you have one of the 2 assessments that was not approved, that you're making your shifts. And now's the time to make a shift if you have an assessment program that's not working out for you. In addition, on the next slide, we have the intervention changes. With the interventions, all of the interventions you currently have in place, they are good to go. But there have been some additional interventions that have been added to the mix that you are more than welcome to take on if that's something you would like. But if you want to keep things as they are in your district, you're welcome to just keep it rocking and rolling along. I do want to lift up that a program that has been heavily requested has been Scottish Rite Build. Scottish Rite Build was approved, and it is a kindergarten first grade program, kind of like Sound Sensible is to Spire. It is kind of that companion program to Take Flight, but you're not required to go through MSLE training to have build training. Scottish Rite does have their individual training opportunities, but it's not the extensive 2-year professional learning that Take Flight and NIHouse have. So I just wanted to lift that up because I know a lot of your schools had specifically reached out and asked about Build, and it made it on the list. And finally, I want to remind you about the ARI webpage. We keep it updated, lots of resources there, whether you're looking for information about memorandums that have come out from the Alabama Reading Initiative, newsletters, professional learning, data support. It's all there. If you want to go back and see what's going on with the Alabama Literacy Act, you can find all of that information there. I love that Dr. Shields, she is just navigating this so quickly. You can see up there at the top where you have all of your little titles there. Your cogs from student success have a drop down that lists each of those individual cogs, such as data-informed decision-making, leadership, professional learning. And so it's very easy to navigate and get all your information there. Hope you're all doing well, and thank you for your time today. And I forgot that I do have the updates from the Department of Early Childhood Education. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library is going strong. It is now available in all 67 counties. That's really exciting. There is a QR code there. I encourage you to grab that QR code, share it with your kindergarten schools, your pre-K schools, to make sure they're getting enrolled in this opportunity. You can see their numbers are increasing, 106,000 children who have enrolled in this program, and the books are really high quality. And then finally, on the last slide, pre-K registration has opened, and I want to make sure you're aware of that going on in your systems. If there is a pre-K in your system or in your area, we want to make sure that you know where that is. And I anticipate that this is just going to continue to grow, provide more opportunities for our students. They do a great job of setting the stage so that kindergarten students are ready to learn. So we definitely appreciate this continued emphasis from the Department of Early Childhood Education.
Bonnie, I want you to know that my sweet grandbaby is one of the many getting books, and it just makes my heart so happy when we get our Dolly Parton books, is what she called our Dolly books. It's incredible.
Aren't they just the most beautiful books? They really are some high quality literature.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Kathy Jones with AMSTI. We have some updates for you. We're so excited that a lot of you are using so many modules, and we are hoping to bring more. So I'm going to let the math and the science administrators present these slides.
All right, so hello, I'm Dr. Charles Holloway. I'm going to talk a little bit about science. And I want to first start by talking about the AMSTI affiliates. So AMSTI has affiliates that offer both math and science professional learning, and our affiliates have been vetted by the SDE specialists to ensure that the professional learning that they provide is aligned to the standards. And so this is a wonderful opportunity to elevate your classroom and to spark curiosity with virtual field trips, and you can find out more information there on that QR code. And also on that QR code, you can find out about other opportunities that our affiliates have that that your teachers can take advantage of in the classroom. We also, AMSTI offers math and science coaching, and so you can really empower your K-12 math and science teachers through some math and science coaching. AMSTI provides this for, like I said, for math and for science, and we support teachers with enhancing their science instruction and their math instruction through student engagement. If you reach out to your regional AMSTI site, they can give you more information about how to engage your teachers in math and science coaching. So I won't talk too long about this, but if you're interested in learning more about how science instruction should look in your classroom, we have a science POU. We just kicked it off this past week, so it's a little dated, but you can look for this in the fall because we'll be offering it again perhaps this summer. The next opportunity we have for APLDS courses are through QuantHub. So there's two courses there, one with advancing data analysis for school improvement and another one for foundations of data literacy for school leaders. So there's an opportunity there for some APLDS credit through QuantHub, which is one of our affiliates. And so last thing I want to talk about before I pass the baton is that K-12 math and science training for AMSTI is back, and we're very excited about that. It is limited, seats are limited, and so you can go to that QR code or that website there to learn about the professional learning that's available in your region for math and science training through AMSTI.
Hi, I'm Carrie Richburg, and I'm going to talk about the opportunities for your middle and high school math teachers. So our newest offering for our middle school math teachers is called Who's the Middleman, focusing on linear models as it progresses from grades 3 through 8. And it allows our students to understand and our teachers to understand how those models develop, capitalizing really on our K-5 understanding and then growing into how we use those models in both middle and high school. So we hope you'll join us at an AMSTI Regional Center near you to explore and deepen your own understanding of linear models. Next is our Curio project that we're doing with a grant from the Department of Education. We are currently recruiting for fall 2026 for anybody who wants to participate, who is a 9th grade geometry teacher. Please, if you are interested in participating, fill out this link in the slides and that you can see on the screen. Curio is a supplemental geometry program where you, as the teacher, teach the lessons and then engage students in that lesson in a 5 to 15-minute virtual reality learning experience to connect and deepen those geometry concepts. And so we would love to bring your school on for the fall 2026 year, and let us know if you have any questions. Our second federal grant is through Math Nation, and this actually is our final year of the Math Nation grant. And so we will be really excited to, in the coming months, publish those final results of how utilizing Math Nation as a curriculum impacted student learning in Algebra 1 courses. And so if your school has previously participated in this, we are emailing and calling and reaching out to get that data so that we can finalize our research report. So please, 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 if you've got any of those outstanding requests from us, we would love to hear from you so we can talk about all the hard work that your school's students and teachers did as a part of this project. Next, for both math and science, we have our teams professional learning. We've kind of reformatted how the professional learning list looks. And so if you'll go to our AMSTI website or the ALSDE website, we've got it both in a long form list as well as on a calendar. So whichever organizational scheme best fits you and your needs, whether you're saying, I've got this open day, let me see what's available here, or just looking to see what's available as a team session for math, science, or computer science, those lists are available and are live and continuously updated as a part of that website link. If you've got any questions about Teams Professional Learning or would like to offer Teams Professional Learning, please reach out to me and I'd love to talk through the process with you and make sure that both our math and science as well as computer science teachers are receiving the best professional learning possible for their classrooms. And next for me is our study with OGAP. Recently, a lot of people have started looking at the change in scores and the growth that Alabama has seen throughout our mathematics continuum for the last few years. And so part of that has demonstrated what's possible when you have the evidence-based professional learning that continues to deepen teacher and student understanding with mathematics. And so AMSTI has been working with OGAP, which stands for the Ongoing Assessment Project, since 2002, and it has just really catapulted our state forward in preparation for strong math growth and strong continued growth, not I know you guys have probably heard, yeah, it looks good this year, but let's see what happens. Well, Alabama, we're on the coattails of a rocket, and we're planning on riding it all the way to the top and just hanging there forever. And I know that Dr. Shields feels the exact same way. And so just know that we've done a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and you as teachers and leaders of your school systems have also done a lot of hard work behind the scenes for a long time. And so we're looking really forward to being at the top for a long, long time and bringing some of our friends with us and saying, come on, we're just going to keep pushing that ceiling higher and higher.
All right, good day. My name is Leslie Hughes, and I would love to bring you some really great news in the world of math coaching. It just makes our hearts sing when we have an opportunity to highlight the amazing things that folks are doing across the state in the world of math. So I want to make sure that wherever you are, that you today hear about the successes going on in Troy, Alabama. Susan Davis is a math coach who was interviewed for her local news station, and the link to the whole story is, of course, shared in the notes to this slide. Encourage you to check that out. Shoot Miss Davis a postcard telling her what a great job. Our math coaches are just absolutely on fire. They spend all their time and time they don't even have learning, deepening their understanding, supporting those classroom teachers, analyzing data, and they are really a lot of impetus behind what we're able to see happen with the continued growth in our math learning. So, want to make sure that you know Susan Davis is just really making things happen in Troy, and she was quoted in this story saying something that really, I think, something resonates with a whole lot of us and a lot of the families we serve. When she said, "Back in the day when I learned it, it was carry the one, and stack them up, all those things." And we don't necessarily teach that way any longer. We do eventually carry the one, but all of the emphasis on building the understanding, that conceptual understanding, that's something that our teachers often need a lot of support in because we didn't learn it that way either. And so big kudos to our coaches across the state who are just doing extraordinary work and don't get highlighted nearly often enough. While we're at it, have you spoken to the people in Haleyville? They have also really been moving and shaking in the world of their test scores, of what they're able to demonstrate with their proficiency. They have just been really on fire, and so all of those teachers and the students and the families that are working so hard, we want to make sure that they get that recognition they deserve. Great things happening in Haleyville. A few of those tidbits are here on the screen, and of course there's an actual news story linked in the slide notes below.
And you guys, if you had the opportunity to listen to our Governor Ivey's State of the State address, you know that Alabama is one of the top 5 states in data literacy for 612, and part of that is through our partnership with QuantHub. And so linked here is an article about Dr. Mackey talking about his plan through data literacy and how AMSTI has helped deliver and spread that statewide. And so as of right now, we've got more than 1,400 educators providing instruction to over 10,000 students in topics like data collection, analysis, visualization, and AI literacy. And so QuantHub has been a wonderful partner helping us navigate this new world of big data and how data is really changing the jobs of tomorrow. And so if you'll take those APLDS courses that Charles spoke about earlier, or our teachers engage in the online professional learning that QuantHub offers, we'd love to engage your students as data ambassadors and work towards an internship in data literacy provided through QuantHub. It's a great opportunity for all of our students statewide.
In addition to all of the high quality professional learning that we offer for our teachers across the state, and the training and support for our instructional coaches throughout the state, another thing that AMSTI is known for is the quality resources that we provide for our teachers and for our students and their families. So just wanted to give you a heads up that in the hopper now and coming fall 2026, we will have a comprehensive collection of resources to help support you when you go to plan, advertise, and hold your family math nights. These are great ways to get the family involved. We know the power of family engagement. I mentioned earlier that, the family sitting around the kitchen table did not learn the way that the student is trying to do their work. And so to give families opportunities in a fun, low stakes environment to have these opportunities is priceless. And for a school to not have to start that planning from scratch is a gift that we can provide. So be watching for that. You'll see it shared across our newsletter lists, all of our social media channels as it is shared out. But keep us in mind when you at the local level are working to plan something to engage your families, which is so critical. AMSTI is here to help. So please reach out to your local AMSTI director, specialists, or your friends here at the State Department. That is what we are here to help with, and we are delighted to partner with you in this work.
And would like to mention the robotics grants. We realized that you applied for that money way back at the 1st of October, but those are coming the first part of February. We know that when the grants are awarded, that half the money will be sent out to the districts in February, and the other half will be sent out in July. So please watch your inboxes for that beginning at the 1st of February. Also, AMSTI publishes our legislative reports. These reports are on our website at amsti.org under the research tab. And this information gives you data and outcomes for what AMSTI is accomplishing, our engagement metrics, and some guiding frameworks. We encourage you to look at our research because we are continually gathering data for you and wanting to be responsible to our districts and letting you know the power of working with our initiative. So we encourage you to look to those documents. We have multiple years published. Great bedtime reading. It'll put you right to sleep, but just look at the graphs. You'll love that part. So we are really making a difference in school districts, and we invite you to reach out to us to partner more. We want to be of service to you. We also encourage you to follow us on social media for updates. We do publish those. And I'm going to put another shameless plug in, and this is an effort between Instructional Services and with AMSTI. The library media specialist, Suzanne Estes, sends out a newsletter to librarians every month. And the AMSTI initiative partnered with Suzanne, and you will find in her library media update every month, there will be a book review that was completed by AMSTI specialists. Those books will be aligned with math and science student standards from the courses of study, but you'll also find that DLCS standards are aligned, also some EL resources, also some English language arts course of study standards are aligned there. So if we can find a standard to align to that book, we're going to, and we're going to help you integrate English language arts, math, science, social studies, everything together if we can at all do that. Now, these books are K-12. We are not limiting those books to K-5 because we know that all of these subjects are integrated into literature throughout the earliest readers far into adulthood. So please look for that in Suzanne Estes' Library Media Update. Okay, thank you for your time.
Can I put a shameless plug in too?
Mm-hmm.
All of that is on the OSL running updates. So if you're like, oh, I want to see, I know Suzanne sends that to the librarians, but we want you to see that too. We would love for you to be able to, have some great conversations with your library media specialists, but also your math teachers and all of the other teachers that are working on content literacy. So thank you for that, Kathy.
Yes, ma'am.
And while I still see my AMSTI friend faces. I hope that you have been watching all the momentum build over this last year or so with AMSTI. We are just so excited about the structures we've been able to put in place, how we can, I hate to say, work smarter and not harder and all of that, but certainly thinking about we are in 2026. what is it we can do to make sure that our AMSTI initiative continues to follow the trajectory of technologies that we know, but certainly all of the other wonderful things that are happening. So I have to shout out to, we have a full suite of most of our administrators within just the last few years. And so they have been working so hard. So while I see them on the screen, I just want to thank them all for that. And Kathy mentioned the work, that we're doing K-12, but certainly Leslie and Carrie touched on, what we're doing for math. And, we kind of have this, I was in a AMSTI OMI meeting the other day, and we're like, we don't know to call it AMSTI OMI or OMI AMSTI, because the K-5 math that we're doing it together. So we never have the impression that this is an Office of Math Improvement thing. This is an AMSTI thing. We are joined at the hips. What is it? No wind comes between us. I forgot what the expression was. That we want to make sure that we are being consistent in our messaging. We ask you to hold us into that. So we've been working really hard to make sure that we're aligning our messaging and our supports. And I just wanted to shout out to my amazing AMSTI colleagues. Thank you for what you're doing. Now, Sue Ellen, I think I'm up again. Sue Ellen Gillen cannot join us today. Oh, there she is. I do see her. We have been sharing a bug that I bet some of you have experienced. So Sue Ellen has put together a link. Sue Ellen, do you want to say anything? Oh, I think I lost her.
So, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So our educational technology updates are available for you on the link that you see on your screen. That will give you all of those updates through a video, as well as I wanted to let everyone know that our Tech Tool Spotlight will be a live demonstration at each of the regional meetings on February the 2nd. So we will be bringing our ATM specialist and our team will be working with you guys on our Tech Tool Spotlight.
All right, with that, I'm going to pass it on to professional learning. Get some water, Miss Gillen.
Yeah, feel better, Sue Ellen. My name is Anna Shepard-Jones, and on behalf of Talina Madison, she is our fearless leader for professional learning. It is a pleasure for her to help support you in any way you need help with ATOD, the Alabama Core Teaching Standards, Teacher Growth Program, TE application. She leads the way with a lot of different initiatives. So she would be more than happy to help you with any of those programs and platforms. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Principal Act and APLDS program. Now, we're the new kids on the block, so we're not quite used to that acronym. So I still like to remind people what that stands for. I heard Carrie and Charles talking about APLDS opportunities. And I will say this, Charles, it gets easier to say it over time, the right letters in the right order. But that does stand for the Alabama Principal Leadership Development System. We're now in year 2 of implementing this program in accordance with the Principal Act. So we'll go over some updates related to the Principal Act and to APLDS. Right. So I want to remind you, last time we talked for the CNI meeting, I discussed these landscape surveys. They went out to superintendents, principals, and assistant principals statewide. And thank you so much for pushing those surveys out. I know sometimes you think, wow, not another survey. We were inundated with surveys, but we had a really high response rate. And I just want to say thank you for that. One question we asked was, well, how do we prioritize professional learning? And as you can see with these results, that our superintendents, principals, and assistant principals agree that it's important. That is an important linchpin to the success of our principals and assistant principals to develop as a leader so that they can lead their schools in the best way possible. So that is very encouraging news. I also want to tell you something else that we talked about as a team and looking at those results. Something we asked was, all right, well, what do you need to know most about? Because we want to make sure that we are, of course, meeting the needs of you all. So we took a look at our new standards, our new professional standards for principals and assistant principals, went into effect last year. And we kind of matched up some things. What are some things that we're seeing, some high-level topics, and asked you, out of these things, what do you need to know about most? And we developed some PD based off of that. I want you to also keep in mind, remember that this this law, this program has a long runway. So it's not going to be fully implemented until 2029-30 school year. And that's when we're going to roll out a leadership academy for all principals. We're going to be looking at this data to determine what content, what do we need to include in that leadership academy. So it's really twofold of looking at what are our most immediate professional learning needs, and then what do we want that leadership academy to look like based off what you're telling us. So we have developed some new professional learning series. I'm going to tell you something. When I shared this out, I've shared it out with principals, APs, APLDS district contacts. If you can please share this information out as well, just to know that we've got a series that's being rolled out. I think the best compliment I received is a principal emailed me back right away and said, listen, I know you're inundated with emails, but I just have to say thank you. It is great to see feedback come to life. And so I want you to know, when we do ask for you to take just 5 or so minutes of your time to complete a survey, it is very meaningful feedback to us. And we do want to make sure we do something with the results you give us. So we've got 3 sessions, totally free and provided as opportunities through the State Department in partnership with our regional in-service centers. And we've got 5 locations across the state that you're welcome to attend, and also virtual options. So once you click that link, you'll be able to see more information. And then I also want to remind everybody that we have, this is now year 2, with year 2 of the program, the Alabama School Climate Surveys. That's going to be posted pretty soon. So that's going to go through Cognate eProof surveys. We're going to set it up on our end, and then we'll share it with APLDS district contacts, the link for you to share out with others. Now, if you want to access those results, again, this is another survey that we're asking people to take, and we want it to be used in a meaningful way. So if you go to alabamaprincipals.org, and if you need step-by-step directions of how to find those survey results, that's where you'll find them. And if you can also share with principals and assistant principals, a goal of APLDS is to have a lot of different high quality professional learning opportunities on that state approved list. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job coordinating those efforts within house, and then also having lots of different learning formats. We also offer free online courses. So as asynchronous online courses, if folks feel a little hesitant or unable to get away from the building, there's opportunities there. And so I want to lift up that there's opportunities that take you through what these new surveys are, what they mean, and how you can use the data in a meaningful way. And I'm going to tell you something else, because I see my friend Joe Garner in Office of School Improvement right there. We love, as all the sections in the Office of Student Learning, to make sure that we are aligning our efforts to best support you. And so he was kind enough to lend some folks to our team, and our team worked together to develop these online courses, to not only see how does it align with these school climate surveys, how does it align to the professional standards, but a lot of the work that Joe and his team does is a framework for rapid school improvement. And so we aligned it to that as well. So hopefully you're seeing all these things coming together, working in tandem, so that we're seeing the results that we want for our kids. So just wanted to lift that up, and just know that we do talk to each other often, because we know it. We're all here to help support you. All right, just want to make sure we know some deadlines. Again, those school climate surveys, that window is opening up. We will also have all of those APLDS clock hour. They have to be completed by May 1st in the evaluation system if somebody is retiring. Now, why is that? Well, that's because we want to make sure that we get all their information and process, and we go ahead and pay out that stipend. Now, they still have to stay for the rest of the year, right? But we want to go ahead and start the process so that that stipend is allocated in time to count towards retirement. But everybody else has until the end of May to complete at least 30 APLDS clock hours, and then the 3rd week of June to complete the evaluation system. But we highly recommend May so that we can go ahead and start processing those stipends for y'all. And I also want to lift up, we have a new memo that has been recently released. This is a list for additional supplements. So a reminder with the Principal Act stipend, you've got the base supplement, and that's for your eligible principals and assistant principals who successfully complete those program requirements. And then you have the additional supplement that's for our hard to staff schools. So that's in a high poverty or low performing. But as a reminder, during the last legislative session, that was redefined in the law. What you're looking at when you go to that memo, and you can click here on that slide, that's the list of schools eligible for the additional supplement. So last year we had about 80% of our school administrators eligible. That's not the case this year, right? The intent was really to have a targeted and strategic identification of hard to staff so that we can funnel and make sure that we're incentivizing that talent. Very similar to other programs that we have like National Board and Teams Act. So it's more aligned with other laws in place. But if you get to that memo and you don't see your district or school on that list, please don't panic, because that's not the base supplement. That's the additional supplement. So I just wanted to make note of that. And to also say, hey, we are here to help. Whatever you need. I know it's a lot and it's one more thing on your plate. And so please let us know how we can help support you in successful implementation of these programs and these laws. Feel free to reach out to Ms. Madison or myself at any point. And you've got a really good resource too. I want to remind you about alabamaprincipals.org. It's going to have that state approved list, those online courses. It's also going to have memos that come out so that you can stay on top of things, and a great resource to the framework. We talked about that before, so I just wanted to lift that up as well. So that's all we have for today. Let us know if you have any needs. Thank you so much.
Dr. Shepherd-Jones, last night I was able to spend a nice evening with some brand new principal mentors with class. I was able to, they asked me just to talk about, what are the things that are happening. And a lot of what I'm sharing, that we're sharing today, I took pieces of that to show them the website, to show them where to find things, the differentiated support guide, the stuff that Dr. Garner is just about to talk about. But I was really pleased because I knew a lot of the mentors. And the reason I know them is because they, of course, they're retired, but were amazing school leaders. So that was really encouraged. It was like a family reunion last night, Dr. Shepherd-Jones. I really loved getting to see some folks I did not know that they were serving in that role.
Absolutely. Good group. And I think it's very unique for something for us to brag about in the state of Alabama to have that support. All right. Thank you, Dr. Gardner. I'll stop talking. Over to you, sir.
All right. Well, greetings, everyone, from the Office of School Improvement, and thank you, Dr. Anna Shepherd-Jones, for the kind words. I assure everyone listening today or watching today that it's been probably my privilege and my pleasure to work with Anna, because she greatly improves my image. She challenges not only myself but my team to ensure that we have alignment between our efforts at the Office of School Improvement and the APLDS, and ensuring that both of them align with WestEd's 4 domains for rapid school improvement. So we create that consistency across the board as we try to improve educational opportunities for young men and young ladies. But it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. And as many of you already know, in November of 2025, the new 3-year cycle of federal school identification came out. And the schools that we support in the Office of School Improvement would be the Comprehensive Support and Improvement Schools, those known as CSI schools. Those are our full support schools. Those are the ones that we are assigned to and in and out of weekly to provide them support. And we have 70 schools across the state that are identified as CSI. And they are identified for being, first of all, they have to be a Title I school. They have to be in the bottom 5% of all Title I schools as a way to get identified as CSI. And when I say the bottom 5%, that's based upon the federal report card. So if you're a high school, that would be the 5 indicator areas. for your federal report card and be in the bottom 5%. Also can become a CSI school if you're any Title I school, ATSI, that fails to exit ATSI status after 3 years. And then, of course, graduation rate. If your grad rate falls below 67%, regardless of federal status, you can be identified as a CSI school. And then we also have additional targeted support and improvement schools. We have 2 schools identified as ATSI, which is one or more subgroups that perform below the threshold for all students in the lowest performing schools. There's a threshold, generally around 75th percentile of that bottom 5%. If a school falls below that 75th percentile for that subpopulation, that subgroups report card calculation, they are identified as either ATSI or TSI. So we have the TSI schools, which many of you have looked at and have seen across your federal report card. There are 190 schools statewide with one or more consistently underperforming subgroups. Let me point out real quick the reference to consistently underperforming subgroups. If you have a subgroup that performs in that bottom 75th percentile and it's only one time over a 3-year period, there is a good chance you may not become a TSI. So consistently means more than 1 year being identified as with a subgroup that's underperforming.
And Joe, this looks a lot different than it did in 2018 when we first identified schools. I know we had hundreds of ATSI schools, and we have 2 now. We have much less TSI schools. I'll make sure I'm saying it right. So we take that as another encouragement. I know you're going to share some celebrations, but it really shows that our schools are doing a great job of closing those gaps.
And thank you, Dr. Shields. You are absolutely correct. I think when the ATSI identification first emerged, it scared all of us. We're like, how can we provide even limited support or support based upon request to that large number of schools? And then what are we doing wrong where we have that large number of schools? But, you know, through some planning and re-identification of Alabama's consolidated ESSA plan, we've kind of really targeted and narrowed down what the scope is to be identified as TSI. And so on this slide, on this chart, is some of the same information I shared with you from the previous slide, but just a little bit more detail. It goes into the duration for identification, 3 years for ATSI, no more than 4 years for CSI, and then 1 year for targeted support, and then 1 year for priority schools, which is Alabama's Accountability Act. I do want to point out real quick again that targeted support and improvement schools, although it's a 1-year identification, it is looked at yearly over a 3-year cycle to determine that consistently underperforming subgroup. So it's just a running cycle. Every year we look at that list and then look at the previous 2 years and go, okay, is this considered? I say it's the Office of Accountability. And then, of course, the supports that we're providing and what a school must do to exit that status. All right, for those that are not identified as CSI or federally identified, those that are not CSI but are federally identified, and you have not seen our differentiated support and accountability guide, please take a moment to access this hyperlink. The differentiated support and accountability guide provides a structure to what the expectation is for schools during their identification, from the LEA during that identification, and from the State Department of Education during that designation. So it kind of outlines that entire plan for who's responsible for what without going too deep into it, but who's responsible for what to ensure that all efforts are being made to improve those opportunities at the schools. There we go. And regardless of your identification, whether you're federally identified, Alabama Accountability Act identified, or not identified at all, want to ensure you that I have a team that is ready, willing, and able to provide any support that you may need. These are just some of the topics that we discuss. The request for support services is hyperlinked in the presentation. Please, if there's anything you need, my team is ready, willing, and able, and it is a pleasure for us to be able to provide support for you all. Thank you, Dr. Shields. All right, now a moment to celebrate success. In the last identification in November 2025, from the previous identification, 2022, I'd like to give a shout. We had 32 CSI schools exit CSI status. 2 of the 14 CSI schools identified for subpopulation performance exited CSI status, and 32 from the 2022 list remained on the CSI list. And of these 32 schools, 30 improved on their report card scores. So overall, 96% of the CSI schools from the 2022 identification showed gains on their report card. So really a significant and incredible work that the LEAs and the schools are doing in collaboration with us. I want those who are identified federally or through Alabama's Accountability Act as a priority school, don't think of it in terms of a negative label. Think of it in terms of a great opportunity to partner with the State Department of Education and intentionally focus our efforts on narrowing down the work, identifying the problems of practice, and being intentional with our improvement efforts. So not a negative label, but a chance to really collaborate with others to improve those opportunities.
The emails that never cease to just warm my heart are those that they are identified as a CSI school, right, Joe? And then they're a little salty about it at the beginning, and what does this mean, and all of that. And then a few months later, they're like, oh my gosh, we get all of this support. I had one of the principals said that the best part of being a CSI school is that I have an incredible resource of thought partners who are coming to really listen to look at our dynamic on how we can improve. Joe, I was just at a CSI school, I think up in North Alabama, that got an A on the report card. This last report card, they just had a really big celebration. So I'm very, very proud of the work that our schools are doing.
Oh, okay. Got another slide. All right. I provided with you, thank you, provided with you or to you some ACAP and ACT resources, because that time is here, everyone. As we progress through the year and get to the testing windows, you can't wait 2 weeks before the testing window opens and start ensuring that all students are prepared and all teachers have provided instruction that aligns to the state standards along with the assessment standards, whether it be ACT or ACAP. So we've provided you with some resources for ACAP and ACT. It is hyperlinked in here, so please be sure to access that and check out what we have.
An awesome, I don't see it on that screenshot. Might be too small for my old eyes, but I do love, there's like a PowerPoint or like a checklist for teachers on, these are things as we were getting ready for ACAP that teachers kind of need to know and maybe kind of check off. And then of course the student experiences that we have through AMSTI, the item specs, sample questions, it's all good stuff.
And quick shout out, Dr. Shields, is that all the information, the resources we have for ACT and ACAP are also on the ALEX website. So those have been recently added there. So please check them out. If you need anything, let us know.
Thanks, Joe. All right, Sean, I think it's back to you and me. And you know what? I have neglected to mention, you may have noticed we have a new logo. I know it is. This is our first curriculum instruction meeting where we have started using the new logo that you see on the bottom left of the screen. So as you see that, we certainly want, if you're using the previous, red A, this gives you an opportunity to, see, or I try to use the different colors and the white and all of those things, because I know what it's like to be at the district and I want to be able to grab some things. Sean, I know that you sent an email out, I think earlier. For us, it's this week. For you guys, it's going to be next week. But I know we're going to put the locations on the website. What else, Sean, we need to do?
We'll just we'll send a follow-up email to this that includes the slides once everything gets finalized and ready to go. And then we're just really looking forward to seeing everyone on February the 2nd and then going from there. And of course, we'll also be able to share the spring meeting dates too, and just really look forward to you guys bringing yourselves and your team, all those that you can that can impact instruction, and just really have time to be together, collaborate, network, but more importantly, just be able to create strategies that are meaningful, practical, and work for your district. And so just thanks to our whole team here, and thanks to you, Dr. Shields, for being such a great leader. And we'll see everyone very soon.
Yep. February 2nd, we are and remember, as you're watching the very end of this, we do encourage you, of course, to watch before, and you can chunk it any way that is helpful to you. I think on the very next slide, there's an opportunity as you're watching and you're like, I got wonders, I got questions, please send them through that form. I think it's on the next. Yep. Use this link or use this QR code to send us questions. And just like we've done in the past, we will answer those. We will all be deploying across the state on February 2nd to just be part of your community. I got a shout out to my team as I was texting them to be able to do all of this and not be in a rush. We've done it right at 2.5 hours. So I appreciate they did such a good job. We were really trying to make sure we did not repeat things that we had shared in the fall session, but of course you have those slides on our website as well. And when we come on February 2nd, we really want it to be just what Sean said, just an opportunity for everybody to like exhale, ask one another questions, grow with your sister and brother districts nearby, have state staff there that work in your region as well as state staff to be there to be a thought partner as well. So we look forward to seeing you all soon. And we wanted to go ahead and say, we like to think ahead, to go ahead and save the date for April 7th would be our next face-to-face meeting in the different regions. And Sean, if you do not have anything else, I think we will sign off and I will get this posted on our website. Oh, one more. I'm still live streaming. Don't get too excited yet. Where's my live stream? I don't want to leave the meeting. I don't want to do that.